So, we already saw this video demonstrating the damage model of the flamethrower. It is on the Russian server for Lesta Studio. There's Supertest, but dealing more damage to a medium tank at the front than a heavy, dealing more damage at the sides, less armor of course, and the max damage to the rear when you pin your supposed high explosive round masquerading as flame rounds. So if you manage to pin, you'll deal more damage. Also applying a stun effect because it's not toxic whatsoever, but they come out with the actual name of the vehicle. It's called Object XXX. Not imaginative or exciting, but whatever. It is a 𝑑𝒂𝒏𝒛𝒆𝒓𝒔 with a Flammenwerfer, dealing cone damage to the rear of vehicles. So dealing a lot of damage if you manage to pin with the high explosive rounds, but it is an autoloader. You carry about 1,500 rounds from that clip. Like a lot of fuel for the Flammenwerferenjagdpanzer. But this thing has armor too. It has 190 at the hull front, which is surprising. Angle too. 700 damage to the rear of 𝒂𝒈𝒏𝒛𝒆𝒓𝒔. But at the front, it's only 160. So you have to hit the rear, otherwise you're not dealing that much damage. Or 170. You're not doing that much damage. Crazy amounts, unless you get the ass of stuff, but it's a 𝒂𝒏𝒛𝒆𝒓𝒔. There's no field modification to having a flamethrower on it. There's rocket modification to rocket 𝒂𝒒𝒑𝒆𝒓𝒔 practically, but okay, I guess. Kind of looks like a 75mm L48 from the Panzer IV mounting onto the mantlet case of the actual gun. So they took off the barrel and the muzzle brake and just a weird design. And why the hell do you need rifling for the gun? It's a flamethrower. You don't need rifling. That doesn't make sense. Whatever. It's a flamethrower round, so high explosive round. Imagine a pellet storm of high explosive that has the flame effect instead of the regular shell effect. But 85mm of pin for the high explosive, which is not half bad. 40 alpha damage. Stun duration of minimum 11.8 seconds and maximum of 12. So it gets stunned practically. Oh, rate of fire is about 75 rounds per minute. It is an autoloader, supposedly. So 19 seconds for the whole clip. 4 seconds between each shot. And 42 rounds total. So you divide that by 4. So 10 rounds per clip thing, I guess. I don't know. That is kind of weird. Alright. Gun traverse speed is somewhat slow, about 10.5 degrees per second, so a little bit slow, but 5 degrees of gun depression, 20 elevation, 30 degrees per side, which is not half bad. You don't have to aim. I don't know why there's an aim time, but 2.88 seconds of aiming when you have that high of a rate of fire, it doesn't matter, right? And accuracy is god-awful, 2.4. So it's a gigantic cone shape, as big as your aim circle, practically. And about 3000 DPM if you manage to pin all the shells, which is highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. It's a high explosive round. Assault. Tank destroyer. Okay. Alright. 1200 health, which is not half bad. It has 190 at the hull front and 90 at the hull sides. It is practically a bunker that is mobile too. So it's about 45 degrees for the 𝒂𝒏𝒛𝒆𝒓𝒔 or so. About 45, right? About 45. So let's go calculate. 190 at about 45 degrees. It's 270mm effective on the superstructure or upper plate. That is pretty good. Negate that by 5 degrees of AP shell. Fine. It's still about 250. Yeah, you could go ramming with this thing. Holy crap. Alright, mobility wise, it still has the good mobility of the 𝒂𝒏𝒛𝒆𝒓𝒔. Still weighs about 35 tons, but about 20 horsepower per ton ratio. 50 kilometers per hour top speed. Very quick hull traverse. So this thing is a bunker. Very good camo. It is the 𝒂𝒏𝒛𝒆𝒓𝒔 after all. and 300 meters of view range. It has no view range. It is a bunker. It is a mobile, fast mobile bunker. That is pretty nuts. But yeah, it's Russian. It's Crimea of the freaking German tanks. The Russians took it. Of course they took it. Alright, fine, whatever. Of course they're using this thing as a test model. It's not exactly a real thing, of course, but having that much armor and that much speed makes it scary with the flamethrower, right? Imagine a Sherman tank with about 200 millimeters effective and mobility. It doesn't need that much range for the flamethrower. It just runs up to you and blasts you. Which is pretty insane. So if it's slow, if it's really slow, like a Churchill tank, then it's not that much threatening, right? It has to get to you to use the flamethrower, where you can just snipe across the map and destroy it. So you need actual speed, and survivability helps too. So mobile bunker, but 1,400 rounds of the high explosive masquerading as flames, but 50 meters per second. It is a very slow shell, so it's a flame, of course, but oh, stun duration, yada yada. There's a burst radius for some reason. Alright, fine. There's only one shell for testing, so there's no gold napalm or something, or black napalm. That would be hilarious. Commander Conquer reference, but autoloader gun. Do they say a caliber of this thing? No, they don't. 42 rounds in the clip, 4 seconds between each shot, 20 seconds of reload time between each clip. Stun duration, accuracy is garbage, aim time is garbage. Okay, whatever. It's Russian for some reason. Radio shared for other medium and heavies. Alright, fine. 700 horsepower engine, which is pretty good for a 𝑗agdpanzer, but high mobility. Top speed could be better, so I would think putting a turbocharger on this thing would be super nice. Turbocharger, likely vents, and maybe optics, because the 300 meters of view range is god awful, but you are a mobile bunker, and this thing has armor for some reason. Like, why? Why does it have 190 at the hull front and 90 for the hull sides too? It can actually side scrape. For some, you don't need to side. Just pull up and blast them. Flame on. It's like a shotgun, but even more toxic, I think. Just come up to somebody and burn them. Alright, fine. There you go, folks. The actual stats of the object, 𝒂𝒓𝒔, for some reason. It's a Flammenwerferenjagdpanzer. Scoop out the 105 or 90 millimeter and put a, or I think it's the same gun on the Panzer IVs. Let me take a look. It looks exactly like the L48 on the Panzer IV 75 millimeter. Tier 5. It's like exactly that. Just scoop out the gun. Just scoop out the gun. Scoop out the barrel. Scoop out the muzzle brake. Just that part of the mantlet. Weird. Alright? Yeah, it's like that. It's really like that. Oh, how much would I rate this thing? Well, thinking about it, for the Sherman Crocodile, for the Churchill Crocodile, they're not fast. They don't have that much armor, right? So you have to get really lucky around a corner to kill somebody with a flamethrower. It's impossible to kill in open field maps. No, unless you're burning the bush, which might hide a few light tanks or something. That could be useful as a utility tool, but as a destroying tool, it's not really that destructive, right? It's you have to get really close, and when you get really close, you get shot by actual guns and actual cannons. So it's not effective unless you have speed or armor or both. But this thing has speed and armor. So, I don't know. It might be fun to try it out, but yeah, if you have no armor like a Sherman tank or a Churchill or somewhat, you get picked off from long range with sniper guns, right? Or just any other gun, just 75 millimeter. 85mm, just doesn't matter. But yeah, just chop off this gun and mount it on a 𝑗agdpanzer. Based on the actual stats of this thing, based on the vehicle's mobility and armor, I would say it's actually a 7.5. It's surprisingly fun because it's fast, it has armor, it has camo. The only downside is the range of the gun, obviously, and the view range, which is garbage. But if it's assault tank destroyer, let's take a look at the actual equipment I could put on a tank destroyer at tier 8. So assault tank destroyer, that should be assault, right? It's like a T-28 practically. So you could put, I don't think you could put rammer, that would be way too broken. It's an autoloader, so you would likely put firepower boosting wise, better accuracy of the flamethrower. That would be fun. Maybe vents. But then again, if you could choose the survivability for the second slot, then you'll probably put vents for the second slot. And for the first slot, maybe just better accuracy to hit your fire. That would be fun. Yeah, vents for the second slot, and likely optics for the last one. It still has armor though, so you could put like the toolbox. So this will help out with the repair speed. But yeah, I think vents will be a little bit better. It still has a lot of DPM. Field mods always choose better terrain resistance and suspension, so this one's the best. Always choose this one. I don't think aim time is a big deal, alright? You're firing a bunch of high explosive pellets practically as flames, so I don't think you need aim time. You're not fully aimed, so you just cone of fire everything, so you don't need aim speed. You need better accuracy with the fire, so that one. And you already have good camo, and you're firing constantly, so get better view range. So always choose better view range. But yeah, 7.5 when I think about it. It is a gimmick, but it's a fun gimmick where you're not that much punished because you have armor and have mobility. You can get yourself out of situations or into situations. So if it doesn't have the mobility, if it doesn't have the armor, then this thing is a piece of junk. But for now, I think 7.5. So it's controversial, but leave your comments below on how much you would think, how viable this thing is. I think it's pretty viable with such armor and such speed to just shotgun people with flame rounds with fire. But thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
I guess it's time for us to go, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us